Hi there, I'm Rebecca and a really warm welcome back to my channel, PumpkinBecki. In this week's video we're going to be having a look at this Shohin sized pre-bonsai, which I can't remember what it's called. But let's do something to it anyway. Let's get started. I genuinely am having brain fog and I cannot remember what this plant is. I've got a feeling it's either a lingustrum or it's not a lanisra. It's not. It's got offset leaves. I've forgotten. It's about to flower anyway, and it's used really commonly for hedging that's going to be clipped back quite closely. And I've been looking at it and I'm thinking, yeah, I'm going to keep this in here. I like it. It's going to be a Shohin. And then I thought, is it actually going to do any real development as it is in here? Probably not. So I'm going to do something fairly radical. In fact, probably three things fairly radical with this. I'm going to do 2 air layers. And then I'm going to turn what's left of it into a marmee, because I really want a marmee. I think this would be so cute. If we have a look, I have got this lovely low branch here. Really nice, healthy, low branch. What I'd like to do is air layer the entire top of this. And probably this one. This branch has no taper on it at all, it's just long and bare, so you know that would be fine for cutting the bark off and taking an air layer from. I don't think I'd want to do a normal hardwood cutting, and this has sort of suffered from a little bit of inverse taper, plus I mean it's not really tapering at all. It's got some movement in it, but it's not particularly exciting movement. But I could just take all of that away and be left with this little chunky trunk and branch, and I think that would be a really good start for a marmee, which could maybe live in one of my little marmee pots. How cute would that be? So the important thing to do here, because I'm doing air layering, is to actually not do anything at all to the bottom of the plant. I'm going to leave that as it is. It seems pretty happy. Don't mess with that. I'm not going to be repotting that right now. I'm going to do the air layers now. So for this operation I'm going to need some moss. I've got some dried forest moss. I've got some black plastic. I'm going to need some wire or string. Probably use wire. And a sharp knife. I'm not going to need much moss at all for this, in fact to do both of these air layers, so I've just got a tiny bit soaking in some water so that it's ready, and I am now going to get on and do the important bark removal bit, which is always the slightly nerve-wracking bit. This is definitely quite a happy little plant. It's got some absolutely bonkers roots going on over here. I just think that it's kind of a wasted opportunity really. So this is a very, although it's bent, it's just the same all the way up. I mean, I could actually just air layer the top off, and I could do that, couldn't I, rather than do really super scary. But that's not what I wanted to do. So back into Shohin realm there, and we're still the same sort of diameter all the way up here, although there's a bit of movement. I could come back into there, but I'm going to stick with my plan. I'm going to be bold. I'm a bit worried that sometimes I'm not bold enough with my trees, so we're going to do it. I'm going to make 2 marks around here. I might as well take it pretty close to what I've got. I'm just going to push into the bark. I want to make 2 lines. So I'm making 2 cuts into the bark, and they need to be far enough apart that once it starts making roots, the tree can't bridge the gap and the whole air layer just fails because you haven't severed the top part from the bottom part. And then we're going to remove the bark and the green cambial layer. We're going to carefully cut all the way around between the 2 scores that I've made. We want the top and the bottom to be as neat as possible. So I hope here you can see that the bark has started to come away, along with the green cambium layer, and we have actually gone right through to the sapwood. This is brilliant. This is exactly what I wanted to show you. This is what we need to remove. This is sometimes called ring barking, and it's actually what squirrels will do to trees, and it's actually fatal to the tree unless you're doing it on purpose. Now, this is great. You can see that's quite a hard centre there compared to what I am taking off. Wonderful. I'm going to give it a light scrape, but actually I think I've got that off so cleanly it doesn't need it. I just want to absolutely make sure that you are down to the sapwood. And once it starts growing roots, they're going to spring from this level, not here, this level. That is where all the hormones and sugars and starches and things that are going up and down the tree, they've been stopped dead. And now as things come back down here, the hormones to grow roots come back down, they will stop here, and roots will be encouraged to spring from this live tissue. This will be cut off eventually, and we can tidy up this area as well on the new marmay tree. So I'm just going to repeat that on this branch here. Again, it's really important to make sure you've gone far enough. If you don't go deep enough into the branch to the point where the living tissue sort of peels away and reveals this shiny, harder core, the tree will just sort of heal the wound and carry on growing as normal. You will not get your cutting. Because this area is so small, I'm going to actually make one pack, I think. It might cause me some issues down the line when it comes to separating things, because you're supposed to sort of leave them alone and not disturb the roots and the sphagnum moss and things, but I think we'll get a more meaningful root ball by doing it like this. So I've got a compost bag, and I'm just going to put it around the trunk, avoiding my nice little branch. Maybe I'll start that side. There we go. And I'm going to bring the plastic round, overlap it to make sure it's really nice and secure. Water's going to drain out of it, and you want it to. You don't want, when you're watering your LA, you don't want just a soggy mess. But you also want to make sure you are containing it as much as possible. That's secure, and that leaves us with a little reservoir there that we're going to fill with the sphagnum moss. I'm going to bring this side round and make sure I'm underneath this first branch. And I'm going to put the wire on slightly more loosely at the top, because as I say, I do want to be able to water this. So I want to make sure moisture can get down the branch and into the pack of moss. And then I'm just going to tie this side off as well. And when I water, I'm going to make sure that I get some flow of moisture down the branches and in through those little gaps that I have left behind. So if you happen to catch the community post that I made a couple of days ago, this is a very exciting tree for me. I have been looking for this particular tree for years. I have an amazing hawthorn tree here, but it's a white one. And I wanted, for bonsai purposes, a red one. Now there's two main ones. There's Crimson Cloud, which has single petals, single flowers, and there is Paul's Scarlet, which is much fluffier, double flower. I didn't want Paul's Scarlet, and unfortunately it's much easier to get hold of than Crimson Cloud. And as I say, I have been looking for years for Crimson Cloud. I have done everything to look for this tree. I've been emailing nurseries. Every time I've gone to a garden centre, I have looked at every single hawthorn tree that they have in stock, just in the vain hope that they have them. But no. I went to B&Q to pick up some seed and potting compost, and also some bedding plants for the summer. And I was going around looking at the trees, I was looking at the aces, thinking, yeah, I could do some more acers. Acers be lovely for more bonsai. Yeah. And I got to this sort of taller tree section because they've got some standard acers, which I thought, well, I could air layer. Building on my first success with an air layer, I could do that with an acer. That would be fantastic. So I've got nasty grafts, horrible grafts. Can't use that, but I could air layer. They'd already come across a little group of 4 or 5 of the Crataegus monogyna, the normal white hawthorn. And in the middle of the acers, and then there were some others, magnolias and other things, I saw this. There's a hawthorn. And I thought, well, it's probably exactly the same as the other ones. It's just got left behind when they were moving things round, or somebody put it in the wrong place. I'll look at the label anyway. Wait, that says Crimson Cloud. Wait. So I checked the pot as well, and that says Crimson Cloud, because sometimes, labels get muddled up. No, the pot says Crimson Cloud. How much is it? Oh my god, there's no price on the label. All the other trees have got prices on. Oh my god. Pulling plants out, because this one was right in the middle. Pulling trees out, and got to the pot, turned it round. £47. Okay. Dear husband, I've got a problem. I've just found the tree I've been searching years for. There's only one of them. And he's, well, what's the problem? I said, well, first off, it's £47. Okay. And secondly, it's like 7 foot tall, maybe a bit more in the pot. Right, okay, that's going to be entertaining in our car. We have a Fiat 500e. Luckily there was only me in the car, and I hadn't bought that much in their garden centre, so I was able to get it in the car. And here it is, Crimson Cloud. I have just popped it up into a slightly bigger pot, added some new compost, and my plan is to do an air layer from this. And I think I've got a nice thick branch up the top here, basically the leader, which I reckon I could air layer off right now. Just exactly the same operation as I did before. A nice wide band, peeling off that loose bit of the bark and the tissue and getting down to that hard wood again. If you're super organised, you can kind of angle the cut so that you get the root plane at the angle you want it, but I don't know what that's going to be yet, so I'm just going to do sort of cuts that are perpendicular to the growth of the branch. And that's the first air layer, hopefully of many, from my Hawthorn Crimson Cloud. Right, well that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to like, share and subscribe to me here on YouTube. And until next time, bye.